The basketball gods are a fickle bunch, and you'd be wise not to upset them if you know what's good for you. So it was weird to think that they looked down on a mid-February game between the Warriors and Trailblazers, since this should have been a, hey, let's just get this thing over with so we can all go on vacation for a week kind of game. And early on, no one could have figured this game would get chippy, much less with the ninth man off the bench for Portland and Zach Collins. So let's look at all the little things, the details leading up to the big blow-up in the fourth, that might have contributed to all the hysterics and animosity. Some quick backstory. The Blazers just signed big man Enes Kanter, a guy who will surely take minutes away from Collins. No matter what Collins says, we all know this has got to be concerning to him, and tonight he was going to prove he deserves to stay on the court. The Draymond sag is a real thing. Look how much room he gives Green on the perimeter. The adjustment the Warriors have made is to move him closer in, and perhaps these shots will be something Draymond can master instead of his three-point heaves that clank so much. Another part of this game was how poorly Klay Thompson played on offense. He shot 2 for 16 while missing shots like these. Of course he's going to be on edge as the game goes on and he misses more and more. If you weren't sure whether Collins is going to go all out to prove to Coach Stotts he wants to keep his minutes, check this effort to save the poor Evan Turner pass before spilling into the cameras. With the Draymond sag, it's got to annoy his teammates like Klay. Watch how Collins ignores Draymond to take away the cut, daring Green to shoot it, and when he makes this one, he lets the Portland bench know how much of a mistake that is. But it's not a mistake. Anytime he shoots versus their big three, it's a win for the defense. The refs were also upsetting both teams in equal measure, like this Jerebko drive that had all sorts of contact going on, and then Jake Layman went to the hole and again, no whistle. The players were frustrated. At this point, the Blazers had had enough of Draymond's antics, and Nurkic sends a message, clearing out with the left elbow to the head. Kenny Maurer on the baseline wanted to call the blocking call, but Ron Garretson overrules with the correct call. But you may ask yourself, why wasn't this foul reviewed for a flagrant? It was certainly excessive contact, and to the head as well. Jerebko retaliates with a hard foul knocking down Lillard, and both these teams are gearing up for some fisticuffs. Lillard goes right at Jerebko and hurls himself into the body to inflict some punishment while also drawing a foul. Collins is back in and completely ignores Bell by taking away the low post entry to KD. Collins recovers well enough to get a hand on this dunk attempt, and it's a bad miss. You can tell the benches were into it too. Watch Curry standing up on the sideline and yelling in Evan Turner's ear. You might call this Bush League, and certainly Steph standing up and where he is problematic, but it works as Turner slams the ball into the side of the backboard, and Curry is taking excessive pleasure in the miss. Perhaps they knew it was going to Turner and bet that he wouldn't hit the rim? But the Blazers are clearly pissed and ready for the fourth. The Draymond sag by Collins has a profound effect on the offense, as it allows Collins to take away Klay's attack on Curry. They play hot potato with it until the shot clock expires, and Coach Kerr tells us all what should have happened. More sagging off Draymond allows Collins to eliminate the drive, and now the lane is completely clogged with nowhere to go until a wild pass gets fired out of bounds for another turnover, and KD is keeping track of how many that was in a row. And Collins makes sure Klay's night continues to go badly, able to ignore Draymond to help and swat this shot out of the air into a teammate. At the timeout, Stotts wins the award for most awkward handshake. Remember, Klay is already frustrated as hell with the way he's playing, and look how physical it is coming around the screen, and he desperately throws up an awkward same foot half hook, not a lot of contact, but he gets the foul, and this angers the Blazers all the way around. It was physical down low for this rebound, and Collins outmuscles everybody for it, but he's met by Klay and Jerebko, who ends up blocking the shot, and Collins has got to be thinking about Kanter right about now. But not for long, as he hustles back into the play and just sends this shot flying. A fantastic play that got the entire bench out of their seats and spurred them on to a big jolt. And then Klay has finally had enough and just goes to the hole hard, but he dislodges Collins, sends him flying backwards, and gets the offensive foul. Of course, there was some embellishment, but Klay clearly initiates contact, gets a little chicken wing in there for good measure, and it's another turnover. If you didn't think Klay had been frustrated all night, think again. It finally bubbles over as he feels compelled to let Collins know that it was a flop. Collins isn't going to back down to anybody, and they exchange some words. Maurer was way too slow getting in between this, and he separates them just in time to call a double technical foul, which is supposed to defuse the situation. The refs still don't do a good enough job separating them, more jawing taking place, and tensions are high. I repeat, tensions are high. Draymond is upset. Maybe he wanted the tech to be only on Collins. Maybe he wanted the second tech. But come on, this isn't the guy to be arguing the refs for someone else's behavior. Klay is still clearly animated and upset as he stalks back to the bench. The refs want a review to see if something else should be assessed. Check out Draymond getting into an argument with a fan in the stands. But that's it. I'm sure the refs thought everything was under control and no further penalty needed to be assessed. Back on the other end, KD has to be annoyed that he can't attack the mismatch because Collins can blatantly ignore his man Bell. And then he can contest the jumper too without fear of Bell doing much at all. The Draymond sag extends to Looney too, and it's such an issue that Collins can easily destroy the whole darn possession until Bell attacks and can't finish over the good contest. With the offense stalled out, it's Layman's turn to ignore Draymond to take away the Curry cut. So Green attacks the opening, but Layman beats him to the spot, takes the contact, and draws the charge. Draymond is royally pissed and lets the ref know exactly how he feels. Which leads us to the big moment. It's clear by now that both teams have a pretty high level of frustration, right? And certainly Draymond's feelings are elevated at this moment. So he takes it out on the guy that's been scrapping and having success. Boom! He takes the hard foul, no contact to the head or anything, but it's clear he wasn't making a defensive play. He was sending a message. In a vacuum, the refs don't think twice about this. The players certainly didn't. Nobody's confronting anybody, they're just lining up for the free throws, but Steve Kerr gets suspicious when the refs call their own timeout to review this. But no matter, the Warriors clearly know that the review won't reveal anything but a good, clean, hard-nosed foul. So, not much to worry about except a 7-point deficit with less than 4 minutes remaining, totally doable. Again, Draymond initiates strong contact, actually gets a lot of the ball in the process, and nobody even flinched. Right up to the point where Ken Maurer decides enough is enough, I'm going to take control of this game, and the flagrant one is called, giving the Blazers 2 free throws and the ball. Kerr detonates immediately, the clipboard flies, and there's the first tech, but he's not done. It's safe to say he thinks the decision was bullshit, and Maurer is forced to give him a second tech and an ejection from the game. I mean, you're already kicked out, so you might as well get some F-bombs in there for good measure before KD has to usher him off the floor and back to the locker room. Notice the Draymond reaction to all of this as they shoot the many technical free throws. This will come up in a bit. The refs now have a target on Green's back, so of course the slightest bit of contact has to be called, much to the chagrin of KD. Because of all the technical free throws, the lead had ballooned and Layman is fired up. He gets the skip pass and basically ices the game right in Draymond's face. A bit of basketball karma, if you will. And now check Layman mocking Draymond's movement on his way back down court. That's vicious. I wish I could say the histrionics were done for the night, but watch Green yank on Hood's arm. He could have hurt him, to be honest, but the refs missed this. The Blazers' offense sets a ton of flare screens, and Collins steps up to KD, a lot of contact, and when KD can't get around him, he just shoves him out of the way in complete and utter frustration. This could have been the time to call another tech, since clearly it's out of hand, but Mike Brown throws the white towel and takes everybody out. It would have been nice to see the Warriors bench take the classy way out, but instead, after Collins gets blocked, you can see KD giving him the thumbs down, and Klay is shouting something at him too. Come on guys, you lost. Take the L. Stotts takes Collins out to defuse the situation, and kudos to Collins for not reacting or retaliating, and the Blazers win going away. The Warriors should be a bit concerned how well the defense can stymie the offense by ignoring either Bell, Looney, or Green. And you know, teams are going to try to get into their heads as well. And if they can't keep that under control, winning another title is going to be the hardest thing they've done, especially if their behavior continues to upset the basketball gods.